Hello, I'm Andy Mack and welcome to Movie Shorts, the podcast that gives you honest, spoiler-free reviews in under 10 minutes. If you're new here, thanks for joining me, and if you're a returning listener, well, welcome back. Today we follow the yellow brick road once more in Wicked for Good. But is this musical conclusion a spellbinding finish, or does the magic wear off? Well, let's get straight to it. Wicked for Good runs at 2 hours 17 minutes and is directed by John M. Chu. It stars Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh and Jonathan Bailey. A stacked cast for a film that has a lot of expectation on its shoulders. A few years after defying the wizard, Elphaba, played by Erivo, has become the Wicked Witch of the West in the public eye, continuing her fight for animal rights from deep in the forest. Glinda, played by Grande, meanwhile has become the wizard's official spokesperson, fully polished and performing a carefully curated version of herself. She is engaged to Fiero, now captain of the guard, though she's clearly trying to convince herself she's happier than she is. Elphaba encounters animals fleeing Oz, including her former caretaker, Dulcibert, and encourages them to resist the wizard's cruelty. The cowardly lion appears, however, revealing Elphaba's magic is the reason the flying monkeys gained wings. When Elphaba visits her sister Nessa Rose, now governor of Munchkin Land, things are even more complicated. But we will stop there. Well, that's the plot foundation, but the tone is what stands out for me. Wicked for Good is darker, moodier, and far more political than Wicked. Well, the burning question is it as good as Wicked? No, but that was a very high bar. What this film does instead is grow up. It's more serious, more reflective. It deals with responsibility, consequences, and how small decisions ripple outwards to affect far more than your close circle of friends. The film leans into ideas of control, power, shared enemies, and how narratives are shaped and weaponized. There are echoes of real-world issues, immigration, propaganda, manipulation, threaded throughout the story. This makes the film thought-provoking, but it may surprise viewers who would have expected Wicked's warmth and vibrancy. The songs are good, but none of them hit defying gravity level of electricity. That's nobody's fault, just the reality of following such a classic film. I personally felt this installment belonged more to Glinda than Elphaba. Ariana Grande shines, playful early on, but eventually layered, conflicted, and far more human than many expected. Cynthia Erivo is superb as always, though her role is naturally more internal and restrained this time around. Jeff Goldblum is a standout. He plays the wizard with a perfect mix of charm, vulnerability, and fear. A man clinging desperately to authority whilst quietly losing it. Michelle Yeoh, on the other hand, plays her role with sharp edges, abrupt, cold, and ruthless. When the mask slips, her character shows real teeth, and that tension drives several key scenes. The pacing shifts near the end. It does feel slightly rushed, likely to keep a younger audience engaged, and some emotional beats could have benefited from more space. But overall, this is a solid film, a good film, thoughtful, ambitious, and thematically weightier than many will expect. If Wicked was warm, joyful, escapism, well, Wicked for Good is the grown-up version. Gritty, mature, and serious. Thank you so much for listening to Movie Shorts, and a big thank you to everyone following and tuning in from around the world. Your support genuinely means a lot. I'd love to hear what you think of the podcast and of today's film, so feel free to leave a comment or send me your thoughts. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Movie Shorts Andy Mac, join the discussion on Reddit at Movie Shorts Podcast, and listen on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Buzzsprout, and YouTube podcasts. If you're enjoying the show, please consider sharing it with a friend or two. Every follow, comment, and recommendation really helps the podcast grow. Until next time, goodbye.